This is part two. Lee Touchton wanted her to go and to explain. Lee Touchton is very thorough. I love the way she asked the questions. And earlier she was telling us, go ahead and explain this a little bit to us as...
In July 2005, Gulf County United, our nonprofit organization, worked with Florida State University, and we came up with a community access, and we did an inventory of all the organizations, social, civics, religious, political organizations here in North Port St. Joe. And from what you see from 1 to 51 of all those social, civics, religious, and political organizations, just a community access. Mm-hmm. Now, here is the county canal. This blue line goes down the county canal here. Mm-hmm. Over here, up north, this is 98 running along this, like...
When you say 98, you
Highway 98.
Okay.
This is Highway 98 along and around. Mm-hmm. And this is the bay, the St. Joe Bay here. Mm-hmm. And from Highway 98, this is the Highland View neighborhood. Mm-hmm. This is the majority of the poor white neighborhood, mm-hmm. we would sort of identify it as. And over here is North Port St. Joe neighborhood in this area. Majority of the, African Americans mm-hmm. here live in this area. But this plant, the biomass plant, is over on this side over here. It would be somewhere located right in this area here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right between these two poor neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. Further down on this side is the majority of the white neighborhood. Mm-hmm. On the south side, again, we got a segregated community. Majority of the blacks resides here. And down here is your downtown crossing over this way is the white businesses. The white businesses is over here. And the residential part is over here. This is where your residential white neighborhood is over here on this side. So the plant is closer to the poor whites and the poor blacks.
Now this, excuse me for interrupting. This is why I want you in, Lee. Now, would you agree that you always talk about environmental racism? This mm-hmm. is nothing new. Tell us a little bit about that. Is it normal? Is that normal to put these plants in the black community?
Yeah. It's either 75% of the time they end up in a black or brown community, and then 25% of the time they end up in a poor white community. And those are statistics that are across the board, state to state, nationwide. Mm-hmm. The other thing I wanted to say about what Amy was pointing out here, mm-hmm. If you go north, or rather that's more like west.
You pointed out, show us.
Let me run up there. If you go...
This is informative. We're just giving the... Yeah.
If you keep going in this direction on Highway 98, you'll eventually come to Panama City. If you keep going Highway 98 this way, you'll eventually come to Cape San Blas and Apalachicola. And one of the public meetings that I came to where their commissioners took a unanimous vote to bring this biomass plant in, there were a whole bunch of real estate agents that worked the Cape San Blas area. And Cape San Blas is one of those areas that has the real wealthy beachfront property homes, and everybody knows the real estate market, even for beachfront, has gone down. But these real estate agents came over here and they had little signs like this, and they had the word yes printed out on their signs, and they were holding them when we had this public meeting. Almost everybody who got up that night was against the biomass plant, but these realtors evidently thought if a huge biomass plant comes in here, there will be executives with Rentec who will then be buying out on Cape San Blas, because nobody's going to want to live in an area where all that pollution is streaming out of that plant. So they will buy further down out on the Cape where they can avoid all of that pollution.
Wow.
So those realtors, in my opinion, saw an opportunity to make a lot of money, but they were going to make money on the backs of the elderly, the poor, the children whose health was going to be compromised by that plant.
Okay. Do you have any closing remarks you want to say about the chart, and then we're going to hit the streets, maybe?
I would like to say, too, when we did this chart, too, it was always this one, Windmark Beach, is the newly beach that county commissioners helped take 98 and reroute it, because they said the old 98 was due to flooding. In my history of life existing here for 53 years, I have never known the old 98 or close to the bay here ever flooding. So what they did, they taken another street and brought the road inland and gave the St. Joe Company more waterfront property in that area, in that area.
Okay.
But things can change.
Okay. So it all boils down to the dollar. Am I right?
Yes.
And those in political power. Am I correct? Okay. Let's take a walk and let's do what we do. Okay. Thank you. kvci.blogspot.com. This is very interesting, y'all. Peace be unto you. Bye bye.